Welcome to Golden Axe. This game, well, this is Golden Axe 2. And I accidentally did that. This is Golden Axe 2. This game's kind of a classic for me. It's like the first beat 'em up that I ever played. And, not Golden Axe 2. Golden Axe is, but we're playing Golden Axe 2. But, I mean, same game, more or less. Just like every beat 'em up sequel is more or less the same game as the NES. That might not be true, but Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 3, they're like kind of the same game, right? I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, but maybe there's some like diehard Streets of Rage fans who would say otherwise. But to my untrained eye, they're all kind of the same thing. I've never been super into beat 'em ups. I'm more a fan of hack and slash, you know, like Dynasty Warriors and stuff, except honestly I've mostly played like Hyrule Warriors. I did play one of the Dynasty Warriors games. And check this shit out, we got like a raptor. That's awesome. He kills people. He jumps. I keep using this magic thing by accident. That's just because I'm stupid, to be honest, that's just because I'm stupid. And I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I mean, I'm not on a Genesis controller, right? So it feels a bit weird playing on an Xbox controller, to be honest. Particularly since I'm using the analog stick. I could be using the D-pad. The D-pad works, but I don't know. There's this whole thing where, like, people say, like, oh, you know, Mario 64 DS controls bad. This is gonna sound completely random to what game we're playing, but people are like, oh, Mario 64 DS controls bad because you can only move in 8 directions. Even on the 3DS where you have an analog stick, you can only move in 8 directions. That's true. You can only move in 8 directions, but that's not the part of the game that controls bad. People, I think, just haven't played Mario 64 DS recently. And you know what? I'll be honest, I have not played Mario 64 DS recently. But I distinctly remember the part that feels bad about that game is jumping. Moving around in 8 directions with an analog stick, actually, to me, it is not a big problem. Oh, I found the move that I'm gonna use on this guy. What? He's so fast? Anyway, I always use an analog stick when I'm playing like top-down 2D games, even if you can only move in 8 directions. I always use D-pad. I don't have a problem with it. Or sorry, I always use analog stick. I don't have a problem with it. And Mario 64 DS, like, you can argue, oh, you need more control than that for Mario 64, but like, do you? Most of the time I feel like it's nice to have, but you don't really need it. And Mario 64 DS is a game ultimately for you to play on the go. It's not meant to be a sequel to Mario 64, the speedrunning game. It's supposed to be a sequel to Mario 64. And I'd still like Mario 64 more. I'm not saying Mario 64 DS is better, because I actually don't think that. But I do like Mario 64 DS. I think the jumping feels bad. They changed the physics on like jumping and stuff a bit too much, but like, yeah, I think there's this did I talk about, I feel like I talked about this in another, but whatever. I mean, no one watches every video, so it's not that big of a deal. I feel like our opinions are informed by what other people say too much. Like, Mario 64 DS controls bad is the common opinion, but if you've not played the game recently, do you even know the reason it doesn't control well? Because saying that Mario 64 does not control well in and of itself is a correct state. I agree with that. But it seems like people don't know why. Because the D-pad, in my opinion, is not really the reason. The reason it controls bad is the jumping. And you know, I wouldn't blame you for saying that the D-pad was the reason it controls bad. It just feels like a very cop-out answer. And I say it feels like a cop-out answer because, like, I never had a problem with it. But that could just be a difference of perspective. Maybe you, like, value different things in the game, like, just differently, and that would be fair. Maybe I'm just being pretentious, like my opinion is the correct opinion, and you know, if you don't agree, then you surely got your opinion from someone else. And that feels like this is a cool move. Get that by jumping and attacking at the same time. That's a pretty cool move. I love this guy. Does this game have lore? I feel like I've not seen a single text box. And honestly, that suits me, but yeah, this is weird. It's like you get credits. It's like, actually, was Golden Axe an arcade game before it was on Genesis, or are they just simulating the arcade experience? Like, developers from this era had no idea how to make games that were not specifically designed to spend, like, cost money. I don't know, it's like people criticize arcade game design, and like, I get it, because, you know, basically designing the game around you dying and spending more money is not super cool. But I will say, arcade games, even if you're doing that, are still way cheaper than buying a game full price. Right? You put in like 50 pence to retry, or you get the game at home for like 40 quid. Like, it's a no-brainer. You're not going to play these games for that long anyway, right? It's Golden Axe. I think arcades are pretty sick. I wish there were more arcades still. I wish there were more arcades, like, I've not seen a lot in Scotland. I think arcades are really cool because I mean, part of it is just like you're being limited to whatever the selection is. There are games that I've played at arcades that I would never have played. Like, I would never have sat down and played them normally, because they're not that good, but it's just like the environment is cool. And yeah, I don't know, I think we need to get back on arcades. I think we need more of those. Oh, you can run. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even figure that out until now. It would probably be a good thing to know. I feel very little consequence for dying. I know I'm going to run out of continues, but right now, I'm not really worried about it. I did like a big attack there. I want to... Yeah. You gotta run, jump, attack, and you get this, like, landing. That's pretty cool. It's interesting with beat 'em up. Sometimes you play a beat 'em up, and there's moves that I would just never find. Like, obviously I did find those ones, but like as a kid, I'm not running, jumping, and attacking, trying to find like every attack. I just wouldn't have found it. That's like interesting game design to put stuff there that like the average kid, which I think is probably the demographic, probably wouldn't find. But yeah, arcades. I went to an arcade once and they had this big Pac-Man machine, and it was like 50p per play. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can play Pac-Man for free anywhere. This is not really a good deal, but imagine it was like... When did Pac-Man come out? I don't know. Imagine it was like the 80s, right? You can't just go on your phone and play Pac-Man. You can do that today. You can just type in Pac-Man on Google, and there's a million ways to play Pac-Man, right? None of them legal. Well, some of them legal, but like for the most part, it's like kind of dubious. But who cares? You can just type in Pac-Man on Google and play Pac-Man. Like, that's obviously going to make the 50p per play look bad, but I mean, if that option isn't available to you, 50p to play Pac-Man, and you can play it for as long as you want if you're good enough to like live that long, right? Seems like a pretty good deal. Seems like a pretty good deal. And Pac-Man's a good game. It doesn't stack up to Golden Axe 2. Golden Axe 2 is obviously way cooler and more good. But I don't know. Do I get like a different attack if I'm running and I do the magic attack? No, I guess not. It's just this thing that takes a really long cutscene to execute. And doesn't even seem to do that much damage. I've got to do like multiple of them to get rid of these big guys. But like not just two, like I'm gonna do this guy. I'm gonna do this one and this guy's still gonna be alive. I guess the utility of it is that it hits multiple enemies, not that it does a lot of damage, but I feel like if it hits a lot of enemies and it doesn't do any damage, then I still need to go around killing all of the enemies, right? It's like not that... I don't know. The guy just fell off. I didn't even kill that guy. Yeah, I gotta say, this is the reason that I'm not super into beat-em-ups. Like, I'm just sitting here mashing one button, and it's working better than when I'm trying to actually use all the moves, right? Like, if I try to use all the moves, it actually works out for me worse. But maybe there's like some crazy moves that I haven't discovered because I'm not mashing hard enough. Maybe there's more moves that I don't know about yet. Like, it's definitely possible. I'm just gonna keep doing this one. This one seems really good. A lot of these beat-em-ups have like versus modes as well. They should not be played as fighting games. They should not ever be played as fighting games. This attack just seems really good. This and the jump attack, which is just like really fast. Although the jump attack never really works as well as I want it to, it is a really fast attack. Because for jumping is like instant. Well, you can't attack immediately after jumping, but you can do it so quickly compared to this like really slow attack. Let's use our magic. And it's not going to kill any of them. But we can keep spamming it. We can't keep spamming. I've got no magic. No, the lizard guys are killing me. But I've got this one move. Which, to be fair, you do have to time it. Because if they're running at you and you press it too early, they will hit you. So there's some skill to using this one move. I dig the music. It's not anything special, but I do dig the music in this game. Yeah, it seems like the jumping attack deals with those guys pretty well. Well, that was Golden Axe 2. It certainly is a game.